Welcome to the Big Idea podcast, where we focus on food. Today we're going to be talking to Ben from Yofi.bio, a company based in France who wanted to recreate the clean label, great tasting, organic, plant-based milk that they see in other parts of the world in France. So he's had a 2-year journey to get there. He's about to launch a great product, and let's hear about the journey. So this is Ben from Yofi.bio. Ben, welcome to the Big Idea podcast, where we focus on food. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Andrew. Nice to hear from you.
Amazing. So you are on video, you are on audio. For people who are listening, there is a video on our YouTube channel that they can go watch. I recommend it because Ben is a good-looking man. He's a very he's one of our good-looking founders out. No, I'm just messing with you. So, there are videos around this interview, this discussion. So if people want to watch the video as well as listening to it on podcast, it's available. So Ben, tell me all about your company and what are you up to?
Yes, so I founded Yofi 2 years ago now, and we are a French food tech startup, and we are developing a range of organic alternatives to dairy products. And in a recipe, we are using one of the greatest superfood in the world, the chickpea. First one on the market.
So
and we plan to launch in October of this year.
Okay, so Yofi, Y-O-F-I is the company name, yes?
Exactly.
You're based in France.
We are based in France, and we are starting with a range of organic plant-based milk.
Okay, incredible.
We start by that.
So,
Yeah.
So what's special about you've already mentioned the chickpea. So tell us why the chickpea. What made you go and decide, okay, we're going to create a plant-based milk and we're going to do it using chickpea?
Sure. So back then, 2 years ago, when I did look at the offer, of course, there are already many brands on the shelves, but I realized there was nothing in France that has a source of protein except the soya milk, and soya milk has kind of bad public advertisement now. So I was looking for alternatives to it. To be honest, I have nothing against soya. I think it's as well a great product, but I wanted to find an alternative for people that want to reduce their consumption of soya. And so I made some research on where could I find some protein, a source of protein. I've checked in the US, in the UK, and I did see that there are already products using yellow pea protein as like Ripple or Mighty Pea. And so I thought it was very interesting to dip into this subject. And so I start working from there, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do a product with very clean ingredients, no additives. I already wanted to do organic as well. I think it's important. And with a source of protein. So I looked in different ingredients, and I used the chickpeas mostly because of the taste, because we obtained really a great taste with it that I didn't find with the yellow pea or other protein. And yeah, because I think he has a good image in the public as well. It's like an healthy ingredient.
I remember some very early discussions with you where we were talking about your choice of ingredient, so chickpea. You also had an emphasis on the source of where you got the chickpea from. You wanted it to be a very sort of recognized, organic, clean source of chickpea, etc. Is this are you sourcing from France, or are you finding other places to get the chickpea from? And what are some of those considerations when you're making the choice of where to source your ingredients from?
Of course, many parameters happened and were taken into account for the decision of the supplier. We've tried with many chickpeas and chickpea protein as well in France, in Europe, in Italy especially. And to be honest, we didn't succeed to obtain a great taste. And the factor number one remained the taste. So for now, we supply our chickpea from a bit far from France because they come from Canada, but it's not comparable in terms of taste. And the company is planning to open a factory in Europe as well. So for the sourcing of European companies, that will be much more like easier. But yeah, for now, we wanted to focus on taste.
Okay, but it's still you're focusing on taste, which is obviously the way to go because people have got to love the product first and foremost. And you're still focusing in on organic and those other key characteristics?
Yeah, we are still focusing on organic. So we are using organic chickpea for the recipe, and all the drinks have only organic ingredients. So for now, we have 2 products that are ready to launch. So first one will be oat and chickpea, and second one will be rice and chickpea. And both rice and oat are organic. And the sunflower oil as well that we are using is organic.
And this is something from a consumer perspective, you understand they want. People are wanting an organic version versus a more sort of mainstream is not the right word. They want an organic version versus just a regular product.
Yes, we made some research. In France, organic has like a very important market share right now. It's growing and growing, and I think in the coming years it will be the case. People are more and more looking how their foods and beverage are produced, what is inside, and so I think organic for now is the cleanest label you can have. Of course, you can have as well non-GMO or no pesticide used, but when it's organic, people know it might be respectful for the earth and as well for the health.
Perfect. When you put the formulation together for this plant-based milk, how did you think through what needed to be included as an ingredient and what didn't? So I know when people started developing plant-based products, whether it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or whatever, to hit that taste target, they were prepared to add pretty much anything to the ingredient list. You've always talked to me about keeping it as simple and as clean as possible. So how did you make those choices?
Yeah. So first, when I started this project, I was sure about 2 things. Is that I want the drinks to be source of protein. So we found it thanks to the chickpea. And we wanted them to be with no added sugar because people are more and more complaining about sugar now that is in the current plant-based drinks. I really think that there have been like 3 waves in the development of this kind of product. So first wave was with like soya, rice milk, which was like doing the job of alternative plant-based milk. Then we had like a lot of other alternatives such as oats, hazelnuts, which were like really great in taste, but often with a lot of sugar to obtain this great taste. And I think the third generation will be like clean label products with like a great taste. And I want to be part of this wave. And so the sugar is like one of the ingredients that people want to avoid the most. Of course, it is used for the taste, but I think we can obtain a great taste without adding some sugar in the drinks. So I really wanted to keep the list of ingredients simple. So for example, for the oats and chickpea version, we only have like chickpea, oats, water, salt, and sunflower oil. And I did add oats, to be honest, to the chickpea because the result we obtained was kind of neutral in terms of taste. And I think people still like a bit of sweetness in their drink. So we use like natural sugar from the oat to obtain the good taste.
So basically, when you say it has oat in it, that it obviously does has oat in it, but it's the oat that's bringing the sugar versus you needing to add a second ingredient.
Yeah, exactly. It's naturally occurring.
Out of interest, and I should know the answer to this question before I ask it, but how many ingredients do you have in each of the products?
So we have 5 ingredients, including oat and chickpea in this drink. And for the rice, we have 6 ingredients. We add the gel and gum for the stabilization.
Okay, amazing. That's actually amazing. That's probably why it's taken you 2 years to develop.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it was a long way until there. And yeah, I mean, you can have the ingredients, but then you have like thousands of ways of doing the milk. At the beginning, I thought it would be much more easier. I thought because I was kind of doing it in my kitchen. But then when you want to scale up, it's like much more complicated. You have many parameters.
Let's talk about that, because I'm sure there are people listening who are considering starting a company or wanting to do a plant-based, apart from the don't do it response that you may have. I don't know if that is actually your response, but apart from don't do it, what are some of the challenges you've had, or some of the, you mentioned, for example, developing the original product in your kitchen and then having to scale it, which was a completely different experience. Give us one or two things that came as a surprise to you as you started and grew your company.
Yeah, so I don't have an engineering background, so I come from the business background. So one of the challenges was to find the right developer for the product. And to be honest, if I have one advice, is like to have a great team, to work with great people. That's, I think, the most important. You will not do anything by yourself. And you make mistakes, of course. And I made some mistakes in the development of the products as well. But the important is like to go back on your feet and continue in the project. So yeah, the most challenging part was like to find the right people to work with. I think this is priceless, and to understand as well, even if I'm not going to become an engineer in 1 year, to understand the work that the others are doing, to get interest into it, to be able to have discussion and to know where you can maybe improve things. So to be interested and curious about everything, even if you're not in charge of this part.
Now, when you say find the right people, if I'm an entrepreneur out there starting to put my company together, I'm probably thinking to myself, how can I find the right people when I have no money? But I don't think you mean necessarily just having employees. It could be as much as it could be advisors, or people who just want to help you in some way and input into the process. I've often found the food industry, and I've worked in a few, is one of the most collaborative. People are really wanting to help each other out, and they don't even necessarily need the money today. They're sometimes wanting to help and just help.
Yeah, exactly. I really think, and I think especially in the plant-based and cellular-based area, where many people are doing it for the mission, I think it's very collaborative world. And I had like so many talks. I just added people on LinkedIn and asked them for some advices if they have time to discuss about their experience. And I made so many good meetings in that way without any like financial counterparts. So yeah, definitely it's a very collaborative area.
I also think there are corporations, food companies out there who are so sort of aware that it's entrepreneurs like you who are coming up with new products, new innovations, bringing things to market which consumers can choose instead of their own, that they're willing to partner, engage, support, invest. Corporates are increasingly becoming supportive of the entrepreneurial ecosystem and entrepreneurs themselves, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we have a great example with partners of Big Idea Ventures, such as Buller and Givaudan, and they are very helping like startups into developing great products. So they are not only focusing on big companies. Of course, they work as well with big companies, but they are as well interested about working with like startups that brings innovative to the market, innovation to the market.
Now, I've noticed you have an accent. I'm sure everybody else hasn't noticed. I'm sure this comes as a complete surprise to everybody. But how is the entrepreneurial and plant-based category in France? Is it well developed? Is it new? Is it kind of coming on, growing? What's happening in France right now?
It's currently improving a lot, I think. we had a lack of plant-based entrepreneur back then. Even if you look at the plant-based restaurant, plant-based offers, it was very tough as a vegan to find places where you can get food without asking if there is nothing in the sauce or anything like that. So, but it's really coming, and I think it will become big. I think there is always a delay with France compared to other markets such as the US, Germany, and the UK, which is well more developed. But I think if we look at the market today in the UK, for example, we have already an overview that how will be the market in France in like 3 to 4 years. I think we will catch up on that delay. So it's not big yet, but we kind of have a big names that are coming up now on the market, and very interesting brand, I think, especially in plant-based meat.
I think the fact that you guys started 2 years ago and will be launching the product in France first and foremost. If it becomes, or when Yofi becomes a recognized household name in France, France has such a strong culinary reputation that will support Yofi into other European countries, right? So if you can become a top performing plant-based milk in France, hopefully, ideally, that'll support you into other markets across Europe.
Yeah, I think France is a good place to start. The market is not huge yet. Plant-based milk is only 5% of the milk market compared to like 15 in the UK. But I see this as an opportunity because I think there will be, as I said, a catch up. And we want to be part of this catch up and to grow the category of plant-based. That's like our goal. It's really to grow this category.
So from a Yofi France perspective, what channels are you focusing on first? Is it grocery, retail, or is it more food service, restaurants, and related?
So to begin with, it will be more retail. So we will be available online on e-commerce. We already have some discussion with big e-commerce retailers, and we will be as well in independent shops. First in Paris, and we will as well be in Germany. Actually, we will launch in the 2 countries first, and then the idea is to sign deals with like big retailers, and that's for the first part. And then we start working from September on the 3rd version of our milk. That will be a barista version, so that will be really specialized for the coffee shops, for example, and that will be more a B2B strategy because I think there is really something to do there as well. In France yet, when you go to a coffee place, you don't have so many alternatives if you are like intolerant or allergic to milk. So I really think there is a market to take there. So to begin with, it will be more B2C, and when the barista version will be launched, it will be more B2B.
Got it. Sensible. So you mentioned B2C initially, so retail, direct to consumer via e-commerce and ultimately other channels. It's expensive to produce large quantities of product. What's the shelf life of your product, and how have investors responded to the Yofi concept for the French market? Are they heavily supportive, or I would imagine actually that it's, you're always raising money whether you like it or not. It's, as the business grows, you'll always need more capital. So yeah. Talk about that a little, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, sure. So to be honest, when we talk to investors, often they say that we have already Danone in France and with Alpro, and that the market shares of plant-based milk didn't increase that much in the last years, and that it's still small compared to the milk section. But then I explained them how big is it in other countries, in Germany, in the UK, and explain there what we bring as well to the market, to the consumer, that people are more looking now for healthy products with great taste, good for the environment, and good for the animals as well. More and more people are aware about that. And then that's how I convince people to jump into the adventure. So now we have of course, you in the adventure. We have as well another business angel that just invested capital in the company, and by the taste as well. When we make some degustation with the investors, because of course it's great to have a pitch deck on the table, but I think there is nothing comparable to prove someone that the product is great and it's going to be mainstream that by organizing a degustation tasting session.
I mean, the great thing is you're in a market which, as you say, to some degree follows some of the bigger markets, so US, Germany, UK, in that sense, but invariably they do follow. So those markets are a really good indicator of what's likely to happen in France over the next 3-4 years. As one of the first differentiated, good tasting plant-based milks in France, you guys are in a perfect place to be part of that growth. If I was an investor, well, that's a silly thing to say because I am an investor and we did invest. So kind of crazy that I say that. But I was going to say, if I was not me, but a different investor, I think that's a really strong argument. I would be looking at, if I could be involved in a company that is a 1 or 2 or 3 percentage points of a significant market that's grown over the last 2 to 3 years, that's quite a result.
Yeah, exactly. As of today, we can see it as a weakness that the market is not so big yet, but we can as well see it as an opportunity for the coming years compared to the other markets. So I think people are convinced about that.
I think what's going to drive that, and it's what you said right in the beginning, is taste. You guys have focused on a product which tastes very, very good. You've even gone outside of the norms of pea protein, soy, oat, and found a new ingredient that brings that taste profile that people are looking for and aren't often finding in the plant-based milks that are there today.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing as well that we are using oat and rice, for example, is to not to disturb too much people by saying we are only doing like chickpea. And I think that will be kind of restrictive, because some people will like more rice, some people will like more oats, some people will like more almonds. So I think we use the chickpea, of course, for the taste, because it really brings like a mouthfeel and a great taste to it. But we want as well to use as a base oats and rice, for example. And I think in the coming months and years, we will be using other base that people know already, because it kind of like a safety area for them to still consume people they know, they are aware about. So, but we update those products thanks to better nutritional values, thanks to the chickpea that brings mainly the protein, other things as well, but the protein is the most important.
And the name Yofi, what made you pick that name above any other when you started the company?
Yeah, so Yofi has a beautiful meaning. It means great, like amazing, beautiful in the Hebrew language. So I did hear a lot in my when I was like a kid. Every time you have a good news in Israel, people tell you Yofi, Yofi, and I think it has a beautiful meaning, and it's easy to say in every country, in every language. And so I think I want people, when they try my product, to say Yofi. So it means it's good, it's beautiful. We worked a lot on the packaging as well, on the design. So I think it looks as good as it tastes.
Fantastic. Yeah. Interestingly, as you were talking about your product, I was thinking about Israel, because chickpea is a pretty strong ingredient or natural ingredient in Israel. So, hummus and various other things are driven by the chickpea.
Sorry, can you repeat about what was your question?
There wasn't a question there, actually. It was a statement. I was just saying that.
Oh yeah, in
when
Israel.
You were talking about chickpea, it made me think of Israel because a lot of Israeli products are based on the chickpea. So.
Oh yeah, no. When you say chickpea, a lot of people will think about hummus, which is Mediterranean food as well. Of course, it's well developed in those countries in the Mediterranean Sea. But I really think it's a great superfood because it's like sustainable food. It doesn't need a lot of water to grow, and its characteristics are like very, very, very good. The main point why it was not developed yet, but by big industrial, I think, a plant-based chickpea milk is the taste, because as I said, I made many trials before finding the right supplier, and it can have like a strong taste, but that's how we succeed, and this is where our added value is.
Understood. Do you have a package with you, or are you nowhere near your product at the moment?
Yeah, I have actually. I can show you if you want right now.
Let's put it up on screen if anyone's watching. I'd love to see the new packaging, if you can.
Yeah, I will show you. Yeah, sure. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. So for those listening, Ben is grabbing a product package. If you want to see this, it's on the Big Idea Ventures YouTube channel.
So I only have the rice version right now.
Okay.
So this is to, I don't know if you see well.
Yeah. So it's quite elegant.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. And so otherwise you can find it. The website will be launched actually tomorrow. So you can find our design there, or on the Instagram page as well.
So give me the domain name for the website so that people can find it.
So it's Yofi.bio. So YOFI.bio, BIO.
Okay, so YOFI period or full stop if you're in England. Bio, BIO is the website. Amazing. And can people place orders there?
So no, not yet. The e-commerce website will be launched in October. We are now having like a industrial trial. So we have the products, but we are following the shelf life, for example. And sorry, I didn't reply to your question, but it's like it will be around a 10 months shelf life.
Oh, amazing.
You have me. Yeah, so that's great. It's ambient product, and yeah, it will be available in October, and first in France, Germany, and I hope the UK.
That's great. And just so people understand, that's a 10-month shelf life, not because you've added weird and wonderful things to the ingredients, right?
No preservatives, no. It's the way we worked on the products with the sterilization, so the heat treatment that prevents any bacteria in our products, but we didn't add any ingredients on it.
Yeah, you really have followed the kind of goals that you had in the beginning of the company to make it as simple and as clean label as possible. I really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's really something that was important to me. Of course, that's why it took that much time as well in the research and development, because my developer was kind of freaking out sometimes when I said, I want this and this and this and this. He said, Ben, you cannot have everything you want. But at the end, I think we almost have everything we want.
Now, the interesting thing is, I'm going to say the interesting thing is there are corporations out there with many millions of dollars who still take 2 years to produce a product and bring it to market with all of their resources and all of their money. And you haven't had any of those resources. You've had very little money, and you've probably delivered it to market in the same time frame, or maybe even sooner. So you should be very proud.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. It's thanks to you as well.
It's what?
It's thanks to you. You're part of it.
Well, thanks to the team in Paris for sure. And I know that the Big Idea Ventures team outside of Paris have really been supportive as well. So
they have been very helpful.
I just drink the stuff. I'm sure I'm not very helpful at all. So, what do you see being the next 2 to 3 years for Yofi? What's going to be the focus for you?
So until the end of the year, we will focus on the first 2 drinks and the development of the barista version, and then we will try to be sold in main retailer shops in France, Germany, and we really want to go to the UK as well.
Mm-hmm.
And from next year, we will start working on different products, because, as I said, I don't want to stop on the plant-based milk. As I want as well to, because I think chickpea can be very good as well in use for like yogurts, for example, ice cream. I want to dip into other dairy products, even like butter. I think there is a market on there. So we will start working on other products. But we already start with plant-based milk to get awareness around the brand. But the values of the brand of giving like healthy products, sustainable ones, we will remain, like not to have a long list of ingredients that people don't really even understand when they read them. So the values of the brand will remain the same, but I think we will go into other products as well.
So that's great. One or two things to think about as you go through that process, if you haven't already. One is obviously what are the bigger markets? What are the consumers looking for? But one thing that's also important to consider is velocity. So I've invested in the past in products which, where people will buy one product and they'll keep it in the refrigerator for 3 months. And they'll use a little bit every day. An example of that, for example, is ketchup or sauce. What you really want to be getting into are products which people consume every single day and, send their kids off to school with, and, are consumed often and regularly. Those are the ones that you really want to be getting involved in if you can. Ice cream is a horrible category to be a part of because the supply chain is so challenging. Getting it into market and getting it to retail is tough. And also, when people buy ice cream, they buy a decent amount. They put it in the freezer, and they have a small amount every few days, every week. Sometimes they forget about it. So it's not a fast-moving item. Unless someone's depressed and then they go eat the whole thing in one go and start again the next day, but that's not usual. So, I think yogurt's a great idea. But this is obviously all over to you. You'll figure it out. I'm just sort of talking through some of the things I've seen in the past.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. No, I just want to bring a lot of plant-based to develop the plant-based category. I think it's important to gain market share. So yeah, everywhere where we can be, we can offer like a great product, delicious product. We will try. Of course, it should be as well financially viable, but maybe we will be as well the next Magnum. Ben & Jerry's.
The next Magnum? What's that?
It's you don't have this in the US, Magnum. Maybe it's an European brand then. It's like very popular. You find them in every theater for the movies. Everybody's buying Magnum. But maybe it's like a new brand.
Is it like an ice cream? It's like an ice cream.
Yeah, it's like ice cream. Like
Like
Häagen-Dazs or.
Yeah. So I remember. So Magnum over here in the US is like an ice cream covered by chocolate with a stick.
Yeah, exactly. It's not so popular in the US then.
It's not a big. It's more of a European, Spanish.
I didn't know. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Got off track there. Everyone's going to be listening, saying what's going on. Okay. So Ben, we know what your focus is on for the rest of the year. If someone's listening, how can they help you? If they're in France, how can they help you? If they're outside of France, what kind of help are you looking for? Just to sort of spread the word, get your brand out there and get people knowing about Yofi, or is there more they can do for you?
To be honest, Andrew, I think every people that think they can be helpful for the brand, they are much more than welcome to contact me. There is no like, if someone thinks to have a great idea, I think every person can bring something, and I really believe in the power of community. And I think it's kind of funny to say that as I am a solo founder, but I really believe like you should work with people and listen to advices. That's what I do every day. So I don't have a specific field where I have some needs. Every help really will be much more appreciated, and I would like to discuss with people. Even as we discuss about it, some people want to have advices, as I did, and I ask a lot of advices to other people on LinkedIn, and I'm much more than free to talk to people if they need as well some feedbacks on my adventure.
So if there are people who are, for example, in France, who want to come up, bring you an idea of a new product or something, they should do that. If someone is an entrepreneur, you'd be prepared to give them some advice as well, take them through some of your learnings as well?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I would be happy to help.
And what about on the funding side? You mentioned getting some investors on board already. Are you still interested in talking to new investors, or not for the moment?
Yeah, as you said, as a brand and as a company, we are always raising funds. We always need to for the growth of the company. For now, we have enough liquidity for the launch of the brand and to start going into different markets. As I said, the B2C and the B2B. But I think we will make another raise beginning of next year, an official raise beginning of 2023. And so, of course, I will be happy to talk to investors if they are willing to join us on this trip.
And let us know as well at Big Idea Ventures if you want us to help out and be involved in that. So keep us up to date on that.
Sure, I will.
All right, Ben, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate how you're always smiling. That's the first thing. Every time I've meet you, you're happy and you're smiling and you're a very positive person, which is great. But you've held to your goals and your objectives with Yofi. You set out to build the best tasting product, but to do so in an organic, simple, clean way, a product that you could be proud of, and I think you've delivered on that. So I appreciate you sticking to your objectives. I'm sure it would have been easy halfway through the process to I don't know, cut corners, to take ingredients that were cheaper and not so good, and you've never done that. You've always wanted to get the best possible product to market. So yeah. You're almost there. Don't quit. Keep going. You've almost launched that great product.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I really appreciate it.
All right, Ben. I'm gonna say thank you one more time, and then I'm gonna press pause, and we'll be done, my friend. Oh,
thank you.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't ask the normal question I always ask. Where can people find you aside from Yofi.bio? How can people get hold of Ben? How can people engage with you best?
I think best ways would be either on LinkedIn. So my name is Ben Blum-Boukozba on LinkedIn. Not sure I have to spell it right now. It's a bit complicated name. But
no, I want to, because I'm not sure people are going to get all of that. So do you mind if I spell it?
No, of course. But I can spell it.
No, I've got it. Ben then Bloom, which is BLUM hyphen BOUKOB or ZA. So, and it's, do you hyphenate it? Do you double barrel it for LinkedIn?
Do I what? Sorry.
Do you have Bloom hyphen?
Hyphen Boukozba.
Boukozba. Okay. And also, if they type in Yofi.bio, will that come up or no?
Yeah, on Instagram it's Yofi.bio. Yofi and then bio. And as well, I can leave my email address, which is Ben, Ben, at Yofi, Yofi.com. No, sorry, .bio. So I will repeat it again. So it's Ben, Ben, at Yofi, Yofi.bio.
Now, I just typed into LinkedIn Yofi, Yofi.bio, and you were the first on the list, Ben. So Benjamin Blum-Boukozba came up immediately. A lady called Angelica Gottlieb came up as a freelance strategy person for you. And then, so either you or Angelica is probably a really good way to connect with you if people want to have conversations. Yes,
definitely. And I will be more than happy to have talks with people.
Amazing. Ben, thank you so much. Everyone, Ben's a great guy. I really do recommend you reach out to him and engage. He's a pleasure to spend time with. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Andrew. Have a great day.
You too. I hope you enjoyed the conversation between myself and Ben from Yofi.bio. If you want to reach out to Ben, please do so by going along to LinkedIn or to Yofi.bio. That's his website address as well. If you want to reach out to me, I'm on LinkedIn, Andrew, middle initial D, last name Ive, I-V-E. I'm the founder of Big Idea Ventures, and we're focused on solving the world's greatest challenges by supporting the world's best entrepreneurs, scientists, and engineers. So, want to reach out to me, please do so. Same thing for Ben. And apart from that, like, subscribe, reach out, come next week and listen to the next week's podcast. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye.